We're here at Cox Cactus Farm in North Phoenix to pick out some really cool cactus for our historic home remodel project that we're working on. And I think I see Jessica and Ryan in the background, so I'm going to go talk to them to see if I can get some tips on picking out the right plants. Hey Jessica, Ryan, how's it going?
Good, Pete, how you doing?
Good. You know, we've got this project that we're working on. It's kind of a historic home remodel project, and it was built back in the 20s. There's a lot of cactus out there, but not a lot of interesting stuff, a lot of native stuff, and I'd like to really almost create a botanical garden with the cactus, because that's kind of what you would have seen back in the 20s and 30s. A lot of these other plants just weren't around right then. Now, this is all Arizona grown stuff.
Yes, we grow all of our own product here, and it's important to get Arizona grown because it takes our climate better.
Yeah, you know, a lot of times I've seen stuff come into the big box stores. It comes in on Thursdays and Fridays in those huge trucks. It comes from what, California, Florida?
Unfortunately, they have to bring it in from California to get big blooming stuff. The Arizona grown stuff does better, and it's acclimated to here, but it's not necessarily as pretty and lush looking as some of that California stuff.
Well, but some of that stuff cannot even be meant to grow here.
No, and that's why they get it in from there. They can't get that stuff locally because it just doesn't belong here. It won't take our climate.
Now, I need some really cool cactus for this project that we're working on, so let's go take a look at what you got.
All right, let's take a look.
So, these are tree aloes here, right?
This is Aloe Hercules. They'll get up to 25 feet tall.
And they can grow in the sun?
They'll take the full sun. They are a little frost sensitive around 25 degrees.
Now you have tons of agaves. I mean, I don't know how I'm going to make a selection. There's so many great ones here. How many different varieties you got?
We probably have at least 50 or 60 different varieties of agave. So, and they come in all different sizes. So if you tell us more about the size and where you want it to go, I can help you make a decision.
But this is what I got to have.
These Argentine giants are great. The bloom is awesome, and they take the sun and the cold. They're bulletproof.
And then I noticed there's a lot of little pups coming out of here, so they really get kind of multi-trunk, right?
They do. It's a shorter growing cactus that'll grow wide and be more of a ground cover.
Well, that one I'm definitely going to grab. So Ryan, as I see all the stuff loaded on our trucks, one of the things the homeowner wanted us to do was minimize frost damage. How are we doing?
We've done a good job of that so far today. The crown of thorns here is the only thing that's frost sensitive in the mid-20s. The totem pole and the blue myrtle, maybe down into the low 20s, you're going to have to put a cup on the top. But everything else is hardy down to 10 degrees or less.
So this guy might lose his leaves but still retain his form.
Yeah, that's it. It's not going to be wood damage. It's going to defoliate.
Well, I really appreciate all the help you've given us today. Thanks a lot.
Thanks for coming by.
Back here at the project site, this area really needed some definition. There were some loosely stacked rock walls here, but they were kind of tumbling down. So we gathered them all up, mortared them into place, and it really helps to frame this main entry. Okay, so we deconstructed this kind of loosely dry stacked rock wall, and we've set them off to the side. We dug us a trench about 4 to 6 inches deep, and then we've gone ahead and mixed our first batch of concrete and put about 4 to 6 inches of concrete in here. It's a little bit loose, but that's kind of perfect for laying the first course of rock in here. So that would just basically fit right in here. Kind of snug them up in a little bit. We got a second one that could go in here. You kind of have to play like a jigsaw puzzle with these rocks and see what's going to fit and what's not, and go ahead and lay them right up against each other. We're not worried about getting these rocks too tight together because we can take some of these joints right here and fill them up with mortar when we do the second course, because we are going to mortar these all in so we have a little bit more permanent wall and not that kind of really loose dry stack wall that we started with. This type of wall is actually really flexible. In fact, here's a good example. The wall behind me had some footing showing. And so to cover that up, all we did was kind of bump the wall up, fatten it out, covered up the footing, and it gave me this really cool vignette to display some pots and a little bit of garden ornament. Now, this is a wall you can build yourself at home. You do that little bit of footing, put the first course of rock in the footing, come back the next day, mix up some mortar, and start slapping this together. It doesn't have to be perfect, but it has this really cool old look. So why don't you try building this yourself in your own yard this weekend? When Step Outside returns, we'll show you plants that don't need a lot of care, but still add drama to your yard.